Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Charlotte and on this channel I like to share my theme park adventures, Florida adventures, family days out, a little bit of lifestyle and just all that fun. So thank you so much for joining me, and if you do like the sound of that, then be sure to subscribe to the channel for lots of that kind of fun. But today I wanted to sit down and do a bit of a Q&A regarding Universal Epic Universe, which is the brand new and fourth theme park to open at Universal Orlando Resort. It opens up on the 22nd of May this year and it's a big deal. It is such a big deal. It's the first new theme park to open in Orlando in over 25 years. The last one was actually Universal Orlando Resort's Island of Adventure, which, I don't know, that doesn't feel like 25 years ago. Like, it's just mad. It's mad. But yeah, this is, it's huge. The technology and the detail and everything that this park entails, it's going to change how we see theme parks forever. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. And somehow, beyond my wildest dreams, I was actually lucky enough to go along on a trip with Universal Orlando Resort and British Airways Holidays for the first ever media preview day of Universal Epic Universe. So last Saturday we got to spend the day in the park. There was about 200 media and there was also some Universal Orlando Resort employees, friends and family, etc. enjoying the park. It was amazing. It was so amazing to go in that park when it was so quiet before it opens to the general public. We had a VIP tour guide walking us around, taking us to the attractions, giving us information about the park and everything, and it was a very exclusive opportunity and I am beyond honoured to have been involved in that. It's literally going to go down as one of the top 3 life experiences of my entire life to date. So yeah, I've understandably had a lot of questions being asked here and over on my Instagram, so I thought that the best way to answer everybody's questions, give a bit of my intel and the things I've learned to you guys if you're planning your trip for this summer or into the future, then I thought I would try and help you with some of that planning, because a brand new park it can be a bit overwhelming and daunting. I mean, if you've been to Florida before, you'll know that these trips take quite a lot of planning. If you're visiting Universal Orlando Resort, if you're visiting Walt Disney World, there's a lot of different elements to pull into your trip to make it work and to get the best out of your time there and the best value for money, etc. But a brand new park is kind of like, oh, where do I start? So yeah, if you would like to hear some of these tips and answer some of the questions that you guys have kindly sent through to me over on Instagram. So I'll start with a little bit of an overview of Universal Epic Universe. So it's a big park. It spans over 750 acres of land, which is just insane. It's the biggest park that Universal Orlando Resort have to date, bigger than Universal Studios Florida, bigger than Islands of Adventure, Volcano Bay, everything. It is the biggest and it does feel big. It feels really big when you're in there. So first tip, wear comfy trainers because it's a lot of walking, and the park itself is actually divided up into 5 worlds. So you have the big hub of Epic Universe, which is Celestial Park. That is like the cosmic center of Epic Universe. There's attractions in there, there's restaurants, it's stunning. There's a water features, fountains, shows on the water, like a big lagoon. It's so beautiful. Literally, I walked in, I was like, oh my goodness, the level of detail and the beauty within that world is unreal. It's just unmatched, like nothing we've ever seen before, and it's huge. And then off of Celestial Park you have 4 more worlds. So if I start by going into the park and you're going to turn left, you have Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe. At the very back of the park, when you first walk in, you're parallel to Universal Helios Grand Hotel, which is the newest Universal Orlando Resort hotel that's going to be opening up in line with the park. That's unreal. That is the first thing you'll see, kind of 12 o'clock as you walk in and look straight ahead. You'll then have the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, and then coming right round to the right hand side of the park entrance, you've got How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. And what I will say is that none of these worlds are a weak link. They are all insanely good. To enter each world, you walk through a portal. They've got digital screens and the portals are all themed, and you literally feel like you're being transported into another world, because when you step foot into that world, you cannot see anything else. I mean, walking through the Wizarding World portal, you go through, you turn a corner, and there is a Phoenix Arch, which has got to be bigger than a house. It must be bigger than my house. It's so big, but from outside of that world, you cannot see it. Like, the portal covers it up. Universal Creative have been so incredibly smart with this park, and the level of immersion is unmatched. I've never experienced immersion like this before. It's mind-blowing. And one of the questions that I was asked quite a lot actually is, what world was I most looking forward to experiencing versus which world was my actual favourite on the day? And this is really hard because, as I say, there's no weak link. They are all strong contenders. They all bring a little bit of something different. So the world I was most looking forward to is Dark Universe, because if you know me, you'll know that I am a massive horror fan. I travel out to Universal Orlando Resort every single year for their Halloween event, which is Halloween Horror Nights. It's like the best Halloween event in the whole wide world. It's insane. Love it, love it, love it. Horror is my favourite genre of film, and the Dark Universe is based on the Universal Monsters, who are a huge part of Universal Pictures history. It's just a huge part of Universal and film in general, and this world has got all of those monsters. So you've got the Creature of the Black Lagoon, you've got Frankenstein, Dracula, werewolves, the Invisible Man. It's all there to visit year round. It's almost like having a Halloween spectacular, but year round. It's there. You can go inside of Frankenstein's Manor, where there's a ride, Monsters Unchained, and it's insane. It's insane. I'll get to that later. Wow, just wow. I'm getting excited. Can you tell? I thought, right, I'm going to stay calm and collected during this vlog. I don't want to be wild, chaotic Charlotte getting overexcited like a puppy, but I'm talking about it and I'm getting excited again because it is just that. It's mind-blowing. It is stunning. I'm obsessed. But yeah, I was most looking forward to Dark Universe, and whilst that's up there for me, I actually think that my favourite world at Universal Epic Universe is How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, because the level of pure detail within that world is next level. It's awe-inspiring. It is everything we could ever have dreamed about. If you're a fan of How to Train Your Dragon, you're gonna fall in love. If you haven't seen the film, guys, I will say, watch some films before you go, because you'll just appreciate it all so much more. Like, you don't have to have seen the films, but I think there's a new level of appreciation and association if you can watch them before you go. So How to Train Your Dragon, Super Mario, anything Universal Monsters related, the Harry Potter franchise, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Try and watch those films in the run-up. Something that was really good is that with British Airways Holidays on their plane, they were actually showing a lot of those films. It's like they knew, which I was like, oh my gosh, it's like they know we're going to Epic Universe. Guys, they do. They're the official UK holiday launch partner of Universal Epic Universe, so they do know, and that's probably why the films are on the aeroplane for you to watch, get excited, do a little bit of homework. And yeah, that's one tip. Watch those films if you can. But as you walk into How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, you're just transported. Literally, you feel like you're in the film. It's massive. It's the biggest world at the park. You've got 3 attractions in there: Hiccups Wing Gliders, you've got Dragon Rally Races, and Fire Drill. It's extremely family friendly in this area. There's even a park for the kids to play on. There's a show, The Untrainable Dragon, which do not sleep on. That is a theatre quality show. It literally made me well up, and I don't well up so much, but that one got me. You can meet Toothless and other dragons around the area. There's baby dragons like Dart, who is Toothless's son, I think, and he's just adorable, absolutely adorable. There's themed restaurants. There's just everything you could wish for within a world, within a park. It's taking theme park beyond anything we've ever seen, and I'm not over it. It was over a week ago now that I was there, and it doesn't even feel real. It feels like I dreamt it and it's just something that happened, but it did happen. I'm very, very lucky that it happened. And yeah, I would say that How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk was my favourite. I am obsessed with it. I'm going to talk a little bit about when the park officially opens up on the 22nd of May and the months that are going to follow that in terms of crowds and everything like that. So a couple of you guys have asked, is it going to feel horrendously busy within the park? And whilst we all know, I think that it's going to draw in thousands and thousands of people in terms of visitors to the park every single day. It is going to be busy, there's no denying that, but the way that the park is laid out is very clever, because the walkways are all very, very wide. Once you're in each world, they're big, and there are different pathways you can take to get to different things. There's a lot of different areas to explore. It's not like narrow, and there's nowhere as such where it's going to be like bottleneck and there's going to be a lot of people all in one bit. So with the 5 immersive worlds, I think there's going to be something different that everybody is drawn to. For example, if you're going as a family, you may head to How to Train Your Dragon or Super Nintendo World first. If you're a horror fan like me, you might beeline the Dark Universe, and I think Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, everybody's just going to love. So I do think that will be the busiest area. Somebody did ask in the Q&A, what do you think is going to be the most popular area and attraction, and where do you think we should start first? And I would say, for various reasons, personally, I think the main e-ticket attraction is going to be Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. That attraction is going to break records. It is honestly the most technologically advanced attraction I have ever been lucky enough to experience, and the ride isn't going to have express pass, at least not for a good while. And we also already know how busy and how popular the existing Wizarding Worlds of Harry Potter are. Personally, I would say if you're getting there, first thing, head down to that world and enjoy that attraction first if you can. The queue line in itself is an attraction. You enter the Ministry of Magic, and I won't give any spoilers, I don't want to do that, but it's unreal. It is absolutely huge. The scale of this attraction, wow, just wow. Yeah. In terms of crowds again, and how you can kind of get ahead of the crowds, I've been asked a few times about staying on site at a Universal Orlando Resort hotel, and what that will give you access to is an hour's early entrance into all of the parks, including Universal Epic Universe. I personally think that hour could be make or break. If you're going to arrive at normal park opening time to the public, if you're not staying on site, you've got thousands of guests already in there and already in line and enjoying the attractions. Whereas if you're one of the very first people in the park, you can beeline to what you want to experience the most and get in that queue, and potentially even have 1 or 2 attractions completed before the gates open up to the public. So if you can, I would say try and stay in one of the Universal Orlando Resort hotels at least the night before your visit to Epic, just to give yourself that head start. The hour's early entry is included for all of the resorts there. What isn't included at any of them, even Universal Grand Helios Hotel, is express passes for Epic Universe, and that isn't something that's on the cards at present. If you're familiar with the resort, you'll know that the signature collection of hotels currently, so the Hard Rock Hotel, Portofino Bay and Royal Pacific, do offer express passes to all guests staying there for Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida. That's not the case for Universal Epic Universe. I think it's all part of the crowd management plan and the operational plan moving forward, because they want everybody to have equal opportunities at enjoying these attractions. Yeah, it needs to run nice and smoothly, at least while it's brand new and fresh and crazy busy. So there won't be express included, but saying that, you can buy express passes for single days. They're available on the Universal Orlando Resort app. I have done that because I want to be able to experience as much as possible within the day, and yeah, that is something that's going to help to facilitate that. And just to give that last statement a bit of background and a bit of context, I was asked as well, are you going back out this year? Are you taking Paisley out to Epic Universe? Yes, I am. And I'm a little bit reluctant even to say this, because guys, I really don't want to seem like a greedy goose, but I booked this trip a while ago, quite a while ago, before I went out to Mardi Gras, before I went out on the Epic Universe trip, and never did I imagine I would be included on such trips. Like, I had no idea these opportunities were gonna come to me, and I honestly feel like the luckiest girl in the world that I have already been out to Florida twice this year and had these experiences. But if you are familiar with the channel and you know me, you'll know I visit the parks yearly anyway. Like, it's where we go on our family holiday if we can, and I'm just obsessed generally. And in terms of Universal Epic Universe, I have been closely watching, like a great big hawk, everything to do with this theme park since they announced it back in 2019. Even before that, when it was confirmed that Universal had bought this huge piece of land in Orlando near the existing resort and everything they have already, I've been just watching it, following along with every construction update, every rumour, every like announcement, or the concept art, everything about it. And I had to be there. Like, I had all the FOMO. So we are booked, Pacey and I, to go out there and experience Universal Epic Universe quite soon actually, which is a bit crazy. But as I say, I didn't know I would have been out there anyway, so please don't think, oh, she's going a lot, little devil. I had no idea this was happening. So this is going to be a personal holiday. Pacey and I haven't decided yet whether or not I am going to vlog it. On one hand, I would like to, because for me personally, would like to have her first experience, her as in Paisley, I would like to have her first experience and her reactions and her enjoyment on camera to look back at, because this is what these vlogs are about. At the end of the day, they're my home videos, and I get so much enjoyment and happiness from editing them and watching them back. Like, I've got videos of baby girl back in 2018 when she was 2, enjoying Universal Orlando Resort and Florida, and to look back on that and to show her those memories, it means the whole world to me. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. That is the reason why I would want to vlog it. On the other hand, I would want to soak it all in with her, and just be there in the moment. So we'll see, watch this space, to be confirmed. But what I do think is that me having been there for the media event has given me a good idea on the park and how to best utilise that one day that we have there at Universal Epic Universe. I have also been asked a lot about whether the park is family friendly. Of course it is. It's a very family friendly theme park. But what I was quite surprised about, to be honest, are the height requirements for the rides, because there's various rides without height requirements, such as Fire Drill, the Carousel, there's the park, as I say, there's the shows. So there's a lot for tiny children to enjoy. But then the first level of height requirement is 40 inches. And the only thing I can really think to compare that to is Big Thunder Mountain over at Magic Kingdom. That's 40 inches. And from memory, if memory serves me right, Paisley experienced that when she was 3 and a bit. She's quite a tall child, so that's not to say that that would be the same sort of age for all children out there. But if I could give you like a ballpark age, then yeah, I would say around 3 to 4 years old. And that height requirement is for rides such as Hiccup's Wing Gliders, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, and then even the bigger attractions, guys, such as Monsters Unchained and Stardust Racers, Battle at the Ministry. The height requirements aren't that big. They're 48 inches, which is insane. That's 122 centimeters. And again, if I can compare that to Pacey and her height, she is currently about 138 centimeters and she's just turned 9. So she's way above those height requirements, and it's amazing that she's going to be able to experience absolutely everything that this park has to offer, and I can't wait. In terms of visiting with family, there are also single rider lines available, and there's the child swap as well for rides. So if you've got a small child that can't go on certain attractions, you can all queue together, and then there's a family room near where you would get on the attraction, where one adult will wait with the child or children whilst the other rides, and then you swap, so you don't actually then have to queue again. And these rooms at Universal, they're really good. I think they've done it perfectly. If you've done it at the existing parks, it's much the same, but at Universal Epic Universe, some of these child swap rooms actually even have a bathroom in, which is just, it's really good. It's so convenient, especially when you're with little kids and some of these lines might be a long time. It's just, they've thought of everything, honestly. And as I say, there's single rider available as well, so if only one adult within your group wants to ride an attraction, they can go and do so. And they tend to say that single rider queues are sometimes about 50% shorter than the general queue. A lot of you guys also asked me about whether you would try and count for more than one day at the park, or like how many days would you recommend spending at Universal Epic Universe. And honestly, to be taking things at a leisurely pace, to not have stress, to try and go on all of the attractions, see both of the shows, meet the characters, experience a couple of the restaurants or quick services. If you want to do any of the additional things, such as there's a monster makeup experience that you can do, there's an awful lot to do. So to be able to do that at a stress-free pace, I would go ahead and say 3 days. I would honestly, I would say, to get everything done and not be stressed or worried, 3 days would be optimum, absolutely optimum. Saying that, when I go, I'm only going for 1 day because I'm going before the 1 day tickets are available to purchase. But if you're going after the 1st of June 2025, you can buy 1 day tickets to the park for the rest of this year. So you could buy as many of those single tickets as you wish, and then from 2026 you're going to be able to get unlimited access into Universal Epic Universe with your Universal Orlando Resort 14-day park ticket. So the same as Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida, you'll be able to dip in and out of Universal Epic Universe as much as you want. So somebody also asked me, would you recommend waiting until 2026 to visit? If you can. If you're not like me and get all the fear of missing out FOMO, I would probably say yes, let it calm down a bit. You're then going to get better value in terms of usage and in terms of money and everything like that out of the ticket that you can purchase from January 2026. Also, this video isn't an ad or anything like that, but the trip I've just done was, as I said, in collaboration with British Airways Holidays, and on their website, some of the deals they've got for next year are insane. Like, you can go for a week in January for £800 per person on a 2-person trip, and that includes your flights, your Universal Orlando Resort Hotel, 23 kilograms of luggage, which is a decent suitcase. Like, I could fill that quite easily, but it is a really good amount of luggage to have. And the best thing is you can pay a deposit and then pay your trip off slowly. Like, the payment terms are quite flexible. So I was with a family member the other day who actually has booked a stay at Universal Grand Helios Hotel, which I'm not gonna lie guys, I'm a bit jealous about, but they've booked to go in January, and I think it had to be paid off by the start of December, so it gives you that window. And yeah, it's just really good. And I know they have got like discounts on the Universal Orlando Resort hotels up until the 22nd of April this year. So if you're thinking about visiting next year, now is probably a really good time to go ahead and check out the deals over at British Airways Holidays. Speaking of the hotels on site, a lot of you guys asked, are any of them walkable to Epic Universe? And Epic Universe, if you're not familiar already, you've got Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure next door to each other, with City Walk in the middle there, and then a bunch of hotels around the outside, and Volcano Bay is right there as well. Universal Epic Universe isn't actually attached to the existing resort. The land is actually about 4 miles away. I put it into the map earlier, and that's from Cabana Bay Beach Resort, which is quite central to Universal Orlando Resort. It's 4 miles from there. So it's not far, but it's not walkable from those existing resorts. From all of the Universal Orlando Resort hotels and from City Walk and the existing kind of park area, there are going to be buses. So they're free, they're complimentary, and you hop on, they'll take you straight on down to Epic and deliver you there for the best day ever. But the 3 new hotels, which include Stella Nova, Terra Luna, which is where we stayed, and the Universal Helios Grand Hotel are in that Epic Universe vicinity. So they're kind of in that area, and you can walk from Stella Nova. There's currently not a safe walkway from Terra Luna directly to Epic Universe, and the Grand Helios is actually attached to the park. It's madness. You can walk downstairs from your room. Security and all the metal detectors and everything like that is within the hotel. You walk outside, you're in Epic Universe, and as it's at the back of the park, one side you've got Dark Universe, the other side you've got the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So if you stay there, you've got a real head start into those two worlds, which are going to be quite busy and quite popular in the mornings, I think. So that gives you the real advantage, and I don't want it to put anyone off that all the other resorts are not attached to the Epic Universe area, because it's really not far. 4 miles is not far at all. I timed it and it took about 15 minutes on the bus from City Walk down to the Epic Universe area, which in comparison is kind of like, if you're familiar with Disney World, it's kind of like from Animal Kingdom Lodge or Animal Kingdom Park down towards Magic Kingdom and the resorts that are down there, or for example Animal Kingdom Lodge down to Disney Springs on the bus. It's really not far, and that's the thing with these Florida parks and resorts. They're so big and expansive that sometimes there is a little bit of a commute between the parks, but it's worth it. And especially as there's free transportation, it's just very easy. It's fine. I've had some questions come through. Sorry if it looks like I'm looking down a lot. I've literally got the questions in front of me here about some specific attractions and yeah, just attraction based questions. That was a weird way of saying that, sorry. But somebody has asked, how would you break down a Harry Potter ride? How does it compare to a Disney attraction? And Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry is like a ride no other ride ever. It's next level. So if I had to describe it in a way, I would explain the ride vehicle as Tower of Terror. If you've done Tower of Terror, any of the Disney parks, it's a vehicle like that. You sit in there, like rows of seats, 3 rows, tiered seating, just a seatbelt across your lap. And don't worry, because it's not like Tower of Terror. There are no big sudden drops or anything like that. It's just the ride vehicle is similar. Even friends of mine I've been speaking to are like, oh my gosh, is it like Tower of Terror? I don't do drop rides. Is it like that? No, it's not, so don't worry. And in terms of the actual attraction itself, it's a mixture of screens. You don't wear 3D glasses, but there are screens. For me, I was a little worried about motion sickness. I'm going to talk about motion sickness in more detail in a minute, but I was a bit worried about that on this attraction, and it didn't really get me too bad because the screens are, I guess they're brand new. So if you compare that to other rides such as Forbidden Journey, the technology has come on so far and they're so crisp and clear, it didn't even feel like a screen. It felt like what you were seeing was real life in front of you. It's a mixture of those screens and also animatronics. And when I say some of the animatronics on this attraction, I looked at them and I said to the person next to me, is that a man or is that an animatronic? And they were like, I have no idea. They have to be an animatronic because there's no man going to stand there doing things all day. But they're unbelievable. They're just unbelievable. So it kind of feels like a Transformers / Spider-Man-esque ride, but elevated so much. And because it's Harry Potter, it kind of gives you a Gringotts vibe as well, but it's not on a track. It's not a roller coaster. Don't worry if you don't like coasters. And yeah, it's not scary. There are no drops. It does move you about a bit. There is movement, but you have to experience it because this is going to be the golden ticket. I think this is going to be the big main attraction at Universal Epic Universe. It's because it's just like nothing we've ever seen before, and it is incredible. I was also asked a few questions about Stardust Races, which is the dual roller coaster in Celestial Park, and my heart was so happy when Universal announced this coaster, because if you've been going to Universal Orlando Resort for a while, you'll remember in Islands of Adventure there was a coaster called Dueling Dragons, and it was 2 coasters on very similar tracks that duelled essentially, and there was a bit where you went around a loop and they kind of went like this. You could see the other ride vehicle and you were close to it, and it was just amazing. And the fans, like the theme park nerds out there such as myself, have been missing that and like screaming out for it, like, oh, we love dueling coasters, give it back. And I feel like Universal actually heard us on this one, and Stardust Racers is like Dueling Dragons 2.0. It's amazing. So there's 2 tracks, yellow and green, and they both are very, very similar. They're not, one isn't a lot more intense than the other. They've both got one inversion. They both go at the same speed, which is 62 miles per hour, but they are a different experience, which is quite weird because I've just basically told you they're the same, but they do feel different. And I'm gonna have to watch the clip back. I've got a clip of us on there, which I'll pop on here now. It was the second track we rode that I actually preferred, and I think, don't quote me, the green track. So you get in line, you go through security, there's a metal detector, you cannot take anything on, there's lockers, and FYI, the lockers in this park are actually facial recognition, so you don't need your park ticket, your fingerprints, you don't need anything, it just looks at your face, opens up a locker, you come back, it scans your face again, and your locker opens. Like, it's mad. It's so futuristic, I love it. But yeah, you go through your metal detector and then you'll choose whether you want green or yellow, and you'll go on this coaster, and it's amazing. The actual ride vehicle itself has got the flux capacitor on the back, so they say that the Stardust Racers ride is powered by the flux capacitor from Back to the Future, because one of the creative minds involved in the design of the attraction was involved in Back to the Future. So there's a little Easter egg for you. I thought that was an amazing fact. So when you're in line and you see the coaster go off, you'll see the light at the back, and that's the flux capacitor. But yeah, the ride goes 62 miles an hour. It's got one inversion. In terms of comparison, people ask me, is it scary? How would it compare to the other coasters at Universal Orlando Resort? I personally, this is the truth, I found it more intense than Velocicoaster over at Islands of Adventure. It doesn't go upside down as much, and it's not as fast. So Velocicoaster actually goes to 70 miles per hour. But in terms of G-force, and I've been looking everywhere online to actually get the facts on this, because I wanted to know the G-force for Velocicoaster versus the G-force for Stardust Racers, and I cannot find it anywhere. It's not information that's out there, like, easily obtainable. But I felt as though, and I would go on record to say that I think the G-force on Stardust Racers is more intense than it is on Velocicoaster. And there's actually elements of Stardust Racers that reminded me of Hollywood Ride Rocket at Universal Studios Florida, in terms of when you come down a big hill and that feeling you get at the bottom, which is like, ooh, like that, yeah. But it's a lot of fun. It's not too scary. As I say, the height requirement is so small. In terms of the actual ride vehicle, it is just it goes around your waist there, the same as Velocicoaster. There's no over the shoulder restraints, so it's very comfortable. It is so smooth. The views you get over the park are incredible, and there's just some elements where these two coasters are dueling, and the inversion, it's like it spins. It goes like, one goes under, one goes over, like this, and you see the others and you're like, woo! But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. 100% would recommend checking out that attraction. I got a lot of questions about the food and the snacks available at Universal Epic Universe, and I didn't get to experience too much food because, as I say, we were on this special tour, so it was unlike a normal day in the parks. It was amazing, and we were catered for that day. So we ate at the Oak and Star Tavern, which is a barbecue style restaurant. What I ate in that restaurant was next level. It wasn't like theme park food at all. The macaroni and cheese was like really good, like so good. Not like usual American theme park orange mac and cheese. This was, it was creamy and cheesy. It was very nice. There was also a citrus chicken breast, which was delicious. The other guy said that the pulled pork and the burnt end beans were really good. Everything smelled incredible. Like the barbecue in there smelled so good. Yeah, I'd recommend there, but that is the only place I tried. When we go back in May, there's certain things that I'm already making a list on. So there's like this garlic, it's like some sort of doughy, garlicky, it's like a steak, I think, like a vampire steak, not a meat steak, a vampire wooden steak, but it's like a garlic knot, and that's at the Burning Blade Tavern. That's on my list. So if you see me out there, don't come near me because I'm going to stink of garlic. And in the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk world, there is like a cone made of like bread, I think, and it's got macaroni and cheese all inside of it and like bits and bobs on there, and that looks incredible. I've also seen pictures online of the ice creams that are available, and inside of the Wizarding World Ministry of Magic, they obviously do butterbeer as they do within all of the Wizarding World areas, but there's a butterbeer crepe which looks so good. To be fair, all of the restaurants inside the Wizarding World, because it's set in 1920s Paris, and you walk into that world and it actually feels like you're in Paris. They're like bistros with outside seating. I would like to try and eat lunch in there if we can. They do like French baguettes, crepes as I say, but with like this Wizarding World twist, such as the butterbeer on that crepe. So that looks unreal. I actually watched a YouTube video the other day from the Discover Universal podcast, which is as it's a podcast and it's on YouTube, so I'll pop the name on the screen here because I'm not sure if I got that right, but it was one of the head chefs from Universal Epic Universe talking about all the food and all the snacks, and it looks good. It looks really good. There's a pizza place in Celestial Park, and these pizzas, they look very, very nice. As I say, I'm only going back for one day this time, so I don't know how much I'll be eating, but there are certainly some things I definitely want to try. There is of course themed snacks and drinks in each world as well. So inside of Super Nintendo World is another like mini world, Donkey Kong Country, and we had this banana float in there which had banana, chocolate, had popcorn, it had like waffle bits in there, and unreal. It was just unreal. It was so banana-y, so good. I know there's also the Toadstool Cafe inside of Super Nintendo World, which looks so good. It's all themed off of like the Super Nintendo characters like Mario, Toad, Bowser, etc. It looks really, really cool. And yeah, there's a lot of really cool snacks and things in the park, and I'll be keeping an eye on Instagram for sure, because I know there's a lot of people out there, especially the Orlando locals, that visit these parks a lot, and they just share pictures of the food and reels of the food and like best snacks, top snacks to try. So I'm going to be looking at all of that, and I can't wait to see the offerings that are coming out of Universal Epic Universe. I'm aware that this video is getting quite long and I don't want to bore you at all. I could talk about this all day, so as I always say in these videos, if you have any specific questions, please do reach out to me either in the comments below or come on over to Instagram, drop me a message, and I'll happily talk Epic to you all day long. But for now, I think what I'm going to do is just go through some quick fire questions just to try and get through as many of these as possible without rambling. So somebody asked me, not Epic related, but how did you find doing such a short trip? I've always wanted to. In all honesty, I am absolutely frazzled and knackered still a week later. Today I climbed out of my pit at about 11 o'clock, which is not like me. I paces with her dad this weekend, so I didn't just leave her to fend for herself, don't worry, but I'm usually like a 6-7 a.m. early bird kind of gal, and I am absolutely tired, but it's worth it. So if you can only squeeze in a long weekend, do it. We only live once, and just be tired for a few weeks later, you'll be fine. The memories are so much more value than a few weeks of tiredness. Well, to me they are anyway. Need ride ratings for a motion sick gal. Oh yes, I did say I would go into this on more details. So Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry is probably the one that got me the most, but very, very, very minor. Forbidden Journey over Islands of Adventure, I'm retired from. I'm a retired girl from that ride, because last time I got off it I felt dizzy for about 4 hours. So I unfortunately can't do that one anymore in my old age. I used to be fine and I love it, so it's such a shame, but yeah, I'm not doing that one anymore. I would say Battle at the Ministry gave me kind of a 2.5 in terms of motion sickness out of 10. Monsters Unchained I was also worried about in terms of motion sickness, because it's a very similar ride mechanism to the Forbidden Journey, and it was fine. It was absolutely fine. I didn't get any motion sickness from that one, or maybe like a 0.5, because similarly to the Ministry ride, the technology is so much more advanced than anything we've ever seen, and there are actually very few screens in Monsters Unchained. It's more animatronics, and when I say these animatronics, like, they're 10 foot tall. These guys are really, really big. They're incredible. They are so lifelike as well. And I did have two thoughts actually on whether or not, I was in two minds about whether or not to take Paisley on Monsters Unchained, because it might be a bit scary for her being like monsters based, but having ridden it, it won't be. It'll be fine for children of a good age, like 8, 9, 10 onwards, because they don't get too close to you. They're not doing anything incredibly violent. They're just like there, and I think she will enjoy it, and it's not gory or anything like that. So yeah, that wasn't too motion sickness inducing. Stardust races I was absolutely fine on. Sometimes with Velocicoaster, because of the extended hang time when you're upside down for like quite a long time, and it's got I think 4 inversions, sometimes I'm a bit squiffy, especially if I do it twice in a row. But Stardust races I was absolutely fine. It only does do the 1 inversion, so you're actually only upside down once very briefly, so that was fine as well. And I would actually say those are the only attractions that may induce some kind of motion sickness, but nothing too extreme for me anyway. I do know at the Universal Orlando Resort hotels they do sell motion sickness medication in the gift shop, so if you're not sure, perhaps just get some medicine and take it just in case, because you don't want it ruining your day. But if you do start feeling a bit squiffy after these rides, and you don't also on the same hand want to have to sit them out because they're a lot of fun and you want to enjoy them without them hindering how you feel, so perhaps just do that as a precaution. Which were your favourite rides? Right, she slams the phone down. I don't know if this is controversial or not, because I would say the biggest rides, certainly I think the most expensive and technologically advanced for Universal Creative to have given us, are Harry Potter and Monsters Unchained, which are both phenomenal, absolutely incredible, insane, love, love, love. I think my favourite attraction was Hiccup's Wing Gliders over in How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Burt, because it's a family friendly coaster, but it packs a little punch as well. So I would describe it as a mini Hagrid's Magical Motorbike Adventure. It has some launches, nothing too fast, so it has some launches, it has some backwards elements, there's music, there's animatronics, it goes over the water, there's a little bit of everything, and it's just a generally good time. I smiled for so long after riding that coaster, and I can't wait for P to experience it as well. I don't know if it was because it was the first attraction we did when we were there, so it might just hold a very special place in my heart and have taken that top spot. I'm intrigued to see if it will change in any way when we go back. But yeah, I would definitely say Hiccup's Wing Gliders is my favourite attraction inside of Universal Epic Universe. And in terms of shows, the Untrainable Dragon was my favourite of the two. Cirque Acanus, which is in the Wisdom World of Harry Potter, is also extremely good. There's some very cute elements, there's some theatrical magic that happens within that show. I don't want to say too much, but it is pretty good. Watch Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, because it'll give you a bit of a background on that show. But yeah, both incredible. So if you have to prioritize one show, I mean, if you're a mega Harry Potter fan, then obviously go do that one, but for me personally it would be the Untrainable Dragon. At what age would you say is the earliest you'd recommend taking a child? That's so hard to say, and it's so subjective, but as I say, I think most children from about 3 upwards will have a very good selection of rides to be able to ride. The good thing about, if you want to go, we always used to go when Paisley was very young. Paisley's first trip to Orlando and to all the parks over there, she was about 8-9 months old, and that's because we would go every year and we still wanted to, so we would just utilise child swap, single rider, take her to the splash pads, the little parks. There are rides without height requirements that I think I mentioned earlier, and children under 3 don't have to pay for park tickets or aeroplane tickets. So if you've got a young child and you're a couple or a parent or a family and you want to go, just do it. Just do it, because your child will have fun anyway. I mean, I could have sat with Paisley in the splash pad for 4 hours and that kid would have the absolute time of her life. She probably still would, to be honest. It's not all about the attractions. There's so much more to enjoy. So I think children of all ages will absolutely love this park. Can you spend 1 day there? Yes, you can. You can buy your tickets in advance, or I think as of 1st of June they're available to buy on the day on the gate as well, and they're averaging at about $175 per day. So yes, you can spend 1 day there. Spend more if you can, because there's an awful lot to enjoy. And guys, I think I am going to leave it there. I think I've answered most of these questions. I can't get to all of them, I'm sorry, there was an awful lot. But I really hope that you found this video informative and helpful, and I hope that it has been handy if you're currently making your plans. And yeah, I just feel so lucky that I've been there and had this experience, so anything I could do to help you plan your trips, I will be more than happy to do. So if you've made it this far into the video, a huge thank you. I appreciate you watching and being here. If you've enjoyed it, please do be sure to subscribe. Come and join me on Instagram because I'm posting all the time, probably daily actually, about Epic Universe, especially at the moment, and all of the other Florida parks as well. I enjoy talking about and posting about, so let's connect on there. And thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves and I will see you guys soon. Bye!